I want you to listen to a guy who thinks that tariffs are paid by China and other big countries that sell it to our business people here, and then they in turn sell it to us. So let's say like the middleman of let's say Walmart, they pay a price in relation to China making it, and then the price, stays the same? Or if it goes up, guess what? Walmart ate the difference. And now with the Trump tariff plan, we're gonna save money. People, I want to tell you how ignorant we have become. Because a lot of us are ignorant when it comes to math. A lot of us are ignorant when it comes down to understanding political wordplay. And Trump is having wordplay. And we should be highly insulted about the wordplay. Because a tariff is a tax. And that tax is on you and me. We are the consumer. If I have a business and I'm buying it from China, and let's say I go directly from them or I have a few middlemen in between, there is a negotiated price somewhere in that chain. And if Trump is putting a tariff on China, you think China is just going to absorb that difference? Do you think that if I have a business and let's say I'm Walmart, I'm going to keep absorbing that business? I can't. Do you guys know that in retail, some retailers order stuff at least a year and a half in advance, maybe a year in advance, depending on where you're at? And so those orders are already out. We have not seen the total impact or the tsunami. That's a good word. We have no idea what's coming. A tsunami. A tsunami. And what they're doing is that Trump, he postponed it, a few weeks ago, and then he went back up and settled with 10%. I don't know. It's all over the place, depending on where you read it. But people, let me tell you something. The bigs are going to be okay. They were okay during the 2008 crisis, and they were okay during the crisis when we had to put those muzzles on our face. I'm going to say it again. The bigs were fine during the 2008 crisis. They were okay during that period 5 years ago when we put the muzzle on our face. You know what I'm talking about. And they called them what? Essentials. The mom and pop is what hit. Guess what? That's what's going to hit again. The powers that be have their hand in this thing. Not to fold up Walmart, not to fold up these other big conglomerates. And believe me, I have exposed this thing economically. It's not the most sexiest video to be done, but it needs to be talked about. I talked about how I do believe when they put up all this plexiglass and they set all these different robberies inside these retailers and whatever, they start putting up plexiglass so you can't even go shopping. You know what I'm talking about. I did videos on it. That they blamed it on the hypes and the people who are stealing. I told you guys that was for us. They had to justify putting up all the plexiglass ahead of time. But they blamed it on the hypes and the thieves. It's for us when the economy gets worse. Well, the same thing here. Donald J. Trump has caused another economic, this is self-induced. And this guy here, God bless him. I wish I could play it from the beginning, but I'm not, I only get a minute to play. His response is, oh no, I voted for Donald J. Trump. I got my own business and I'm selling merchandise. It's going to be good for me. No, it's not. The same thing that happened in 2008, the same thing happened with the essentials back in the day, and the mom and pops had to close up. Guess what? It's going to happen, and it's happening now. And a lot of these companies, you've seen them, CVS, Walgreens, other places, they're not just closing because the economy is bad. Now, they're looking in the future because they know what I know. They know the true numbers, and they know that they were already hanging on by a thread with probably 25% of their businesses. Now you got retail and restaurant folding because the bowling ball is coming, and they hear it. I just read today, Noodles and Company, you name it. The companies are folding like envelopes. And all we get out of Donald Trump is, I don't like Taylor Swift. That's what I'm getting from our president? Because it's a joke. Now, I'm going to play these videos, but I want you to understand. The mom and pops are about to get a tsunami. Because right now, companies, they stockpiled extra goods in anticipation of the tariff problem. But they can only hold out for so long. So the numbers didn't look too bad the last 6 weeks. But it's coming. Do you feel me? By this fall, it's going to hit. And then the orders are going to be placed, and the merchandise is going to be more expensive. And guess what? You and I are going to have to make up the difference. This is just as worse as Joe Biden. The first thing he did was go into Wisconsin and shut down that pipeline. And gas went through the roof. I'm telling you, ain't no better than Tweetly D and Tweetly Dumb. And we better figure it out and start making these guys accountable. And that's all I got to say about it. Listen to this crap. God bless this guy, but he totally wrong.
Blanks? No. See, that's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Like if I'm buying 1,000 shirts from China and there's a tariff on it, I'm paying the tariff.
Well, no, whoever's getting it imported in is going to pay the tariffs.
Yeah. I'm the business owner. I'm paying the tariff. China doesn't pay it. I pay for it.
Well,
and like if I'm the business owner and I buy 1,000 shirts,
I see what you're saying.
China's not Jolly. So I'm trying to explain.
Who pays the tariff?
They're paying the tariff.
You think that? You believe that?
I was trying to say, because I sell merch as well.
I sell you something for $10, right? You're going to sell it to him for $20.
Exactly.
But then you pay me $15 for it. Are you still going to sell it to him for $20?
Am I going to sell it to him for 20?
If I raise the price $5.
Oh, it's going to have to go up.
Right. So
Yeah, the consumer foots the bill.
That's what I'm talking about. And where is the media? NBA, NBC, ABC, CBS. Who's talking? Who's asking the right question? Look, the hallmark of journalism. But they're owned. They're owned, people. They're owned. I got people emailing me. Oh, Joe Biden. Come on, man. Y'all believe in all this crap y'all hearing through the news? We the one in a crisis. And all I hear is Taylor Swift. I don't hear about Taylor Swift. She a millionaire, probably a billionaire. Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Does he acknowledge that if companies don't absorb the full cost, Americans will have to pay?
Well, first of all, the CEO of Walmart made those comments about the tariffs on an earnings call where CEOs, I believe, are legally obligated to give the most dire warnings and forecasts to their investors and stakeholders. The reality is, as the president has always maintained, Chinese producers will be absorbing the cost of these tariffs. And that is why China was so quick to hustle to the negotiating table with the United States.
She's young. She has financial She's financially illiterate. And I said this, look at my past videos, I said it. They put a young, pretty girl out there, I don't care what color she is, and look at what she's parodying. Oh, China's going to pay. China's not going to pay the difference. They're going, look, people, they're not going to pay. They got mouths to feed over there. They got industries to run over there. They got businesses to come over there. At some point, they're going to raise the prices. And we pay it. This woman is just a voice piece. Don't listen to her. This journalist asked the right question. Listen again.
Does he acknowledge that if companies don't absorb the full cost, Americans will have to pay?
Well, first of all, the CEO of Walmart made those comments about the tariffs on an earnings call where CEOs, I believe, are legally obligated to give the most dire warnings and forecasts to their investors and stakeholders. The reality is, as the president has always maintained, Chinese producers will be absorbing the cost of these tariffs. And that is why China was so quick to hustle to the...
You can't tell China what to do with their business? Come on, man. People, go down the rabbit hole. And it ain't that I'm so caught up in Walmart. They are, in fact, I think they're got the most millionaires in one family than anybody on earth, at least in America. So I ain't really, loving on them, but I'm not hating on them either in terms of a business model. The bottom line is that they're in business to make a profit. It's called capitalism. And what did Trump do? He put them in a precarious situation, which puts us in a precarious situation. It's just another form of throwing a dart at the middle class. Wake up.
Lots of headlines this morning on Walmart's call out of having to raise prices to offset these tariffs. I know you don't take this decision lightly. Can you talk to us, your thinking behind it, and then how much on average will prices go up at Walmart?
Oh, it's good to speak with you, Brian, and good to be on the show. You know very well we're wired to keep prices as low as we can for our customers. Everyday low prices is what we stand for, and we're going to keep prices as low as we can, as long as we can. But when you look at the magnitude of some of the cost increases on certain categories of items that are imported, it's more than what retailers can bear, it's more than what suppliers can bear, and so we'll work hard to try to keep prices low, but it's unavoidable that you're going to see some prices go up on certain items. And so we'll work to try to keep that as low as we can, and certainly look to try to gain share and be aggressive and play offense in this environment to keep prices lower than others. But given that you've got 30% tariffs on certain categories of items that are going to be imported, you're likely going to see some price increases go up there.
Okay, what do you say? Retailers and suppliers. Retailers and suppliers. Everybody got mouths to feed. And in a world of capitalism, you're going to take care of yourself first. Trump can't tell them what to do. When he creates the tariff, there's a ripple effect. Let's go down it again.
Hey, Holly, good morning. Well, Walmart really viewed as a bellwether for the larger economy. So if prices are going up there, that might mean Americans need to pull back on their spending. So on the earnings call this morning, head of Walmart CEO and CFO saying the tariffs are really already having an impact, but they could see that impact get bigger in the coming months. So the company said they are trying to absorb the tariff costs as much as they can. They said they were grateful for the recent pause on tariffs between U.S. and China, grateful to the Trump administration for that. But if those tariffs return, or if those tariffs go up even more, they said prices will go up for customers too.
We're positioned to manage the cost pressure from tariffs as well or better than anyone. But even at the reduced levels, the higher tariffs will result in higher prices.
Do you understand? And he's right. They're in a better position than most people because they got probably $1 trillion company. I don't know, but they're the big dog. And they can absorb things for a few months. But at some point, they got to look in the mirror and say, oh, well, I do have shareholders. I do have profit margins. I do have big, arguably, they probably got, but see, people, the relationship isn't the same as you and I. I've done videos last year and also on my last channel where I show they get these tax breaks. I mean, almost nothing in comparison to what we pay, but still, they're in business to make a buck. And should they pay people more money? I agree, they should. But the bottom line is that, again, this is another way to kill the middle class because something's coming. This is why a lot of companies, they got ahead of the game and they closed down stuff early. I believe they already knew what Trump was going to do. Just my personal effect. And here's the last video.
Would be some increase in May and a further increase in June. So what gives now then?
The question is really where tariffs will ultimately be. Companies like Walmart are trying to make a bet on whether that 30% will hold or whether it will go up. And so they're kind of making these calculated bets. And it's worth noting they are importing holiday orders at this time. This is a crucial time. And so they were being hit with 145%, right. And some of the imports landed at that level.
But in response to the president, we put this up on screen from the CEO, we've always worked to keep our prices as low as possible. We won't stop. We'll keep prices as low as we can for as long as we can, given the reality of small retail margins.
Yes, it's worth noting that Walmart's CFO told me that they will try to maintain their price gaps with competitors, which means they want to undercut their retail rivals. And that will mean, in some cases, they're going to absorb more costs. But it does raise questions about what this means for Target and what this means for smaller businesses that aren't in the same negotiating position with vendors and don't have that kind of financial leeway like Walmart.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Big dogs can negotiate. They got deeper pockets, more pull, and they're going to be listened to. The mom and pop aren't. The mom and pop, when they buy a pallet of water, that pallet of water is going to probably be 25 to 40% more than when Walmart buys it because they buy in bulk. And this is what I'm trying to get. I talk to people every week and they don't understand the chain. If you are in retail, please put your comments in there. Educate people. You're not making America great by making Americans suffer. I'm going to say it again. You're not making America great by tying a person's hands behind their back or putting a boot on their leg. It's slavery. Look, I got to say it. It's slavery. It's economic slavery. And we have a Congress that needs to reel him in. They need to use their positioning power. Because back in the day, the way I understand it, tariffs are in the hands of Congress. And they should be. Other than that, we got Julius Caesar. And this is where we're at. And the sale has been, well, you know what? China's been getting away with stuff for a long time. Now they're going to pay. If you got somebody who you're in business with and they don't negotiate, they just often go up, you're going to be reasonable on your end? I don't think so. Because you've already made plans in relation to the budget that you made. It doesn't mean you can't make adjustments, but when the adjustments come down on the businesses, especially small businesses, what's that going to mean? Prices of everything that touches something that comes from overseas, that item is going to go up. There's also going to be scarcity. It also means that when it comes down to customer service, there are going to be layoffs or cutbacks in labor. We're already barely recognized in our country. And don't even let me get on the automation tip. Like I said, if you are in retail, keep it real. What are you going through at your job? If you got your own business, have you seen costs going up already? Did you buy in bulk ahead of time? And the prices now coming down the pipe versus what they were, let's say 4 months ago. Is there a comparison? And do you already know what your supply is going to be charging? Have you heard from your Because look, people, I've been in business. A lot of business people have generational relationships with their suppliers. They do, especially the mom and pop, because it's business. They know these people by name, okay? But when it comes down to business, they can only hold back so long too, because everybody got to eat, and everybody got to run the business, and everybody got an obligation. So like I said, we haven't, the lower middle class and the mom and pop, by this fall, they're going to see a tsunami. Walmart and the other big ones, they're going to be able to hold through this thing. But to me, this ain't nothing but a situation from 5 years ago when we had that muzzle on our face. My name is Franchise Pearson. If you understand what I'm saying, hey, put it in the chat. God bless you and God bless America.